But if I don't do it now, I know
Mm.
myself,
Yeah.
I won't do it. And I think that's when we talk about regret of
Yeah.
moving forward. But I do have funny because regret is hard for me to grasp onto that because we regret things that we did in the past to other people. So, well, we didn't know any better, so we should be
Mm-hmm.
more have more self-compassion. But at the same time, I feel that some of the things that I didn't do that I
Mm-hmm.
could have regret led me to other things.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a very dangerous path for people
Yeah.
because people could use this as an excuse. I'll give a quick example, not really trying to make people use them as an excuse. But back in college, like 15 years ago, I was friends with a person, and I think we're sort of kind of into each other. I never shoot my shot, and to me, it's like I guess like we could have had something, but because of that, because I didn't do that, a year or so later, I
Mm-hmm.
met my wife or now ex-wife. But if it, I wouldn't be here probably talking to you on this podcast if I had started dating that person, just because my life would have taken a whole different
Yeah.
direction. So did I regret not shooting my shot with that person? No, because I can just see now
Mm-hmm.
what that led me. But at the same time, it's like, okay, what things are okay letting pass by and what things we need to actually do? And that's what
Yeah.
life is tricky, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You're highlighting, I think, the distinction of a couple different types of regrets that are
Hmm.
important. There are those regrets of commission and omission. And the regrets of commission are the things we did that we regret, that we wish we didn't do. And I love knowing that based on research, those types of regrets, we just kind of over time, we tend to just forgive ourselves. You use the word self compassion. I like it's like on our deathbeds, we don't really care too much about the stupid thing we did, good stuff. But what does tend to sometimes nag at us are the regrets of omission, which are the things that we didn't do. And so for you, it's like taking your shot, or it could be applying for the job, or it could be moving somewhere where you thought it would be really cool and you could have had a fun life if you moved to Alaska or something. Those are those, I call them coulda, shoulda, wouldas. And I call them actually pre-grets. Because if you're not dead yet, and anybody listening is surely not dead yet, then if you identify a thing that might give you a pang of regret if you were on your deathbed, the cool thing is that, holy cow, like you could still probably do it. Because if it is a regret about, oh man, I wished I had gone back to school and finished my degree, or I wished I had learned how to speak Italian, or I wished I had gone and made up with my brother, or I wished that I had been more present and taken up meditation. Well, good stuff. You could start any of those things today. So this to me flips this more back to the action again. It's that we can lament things. And I agree with you. I do think that paths are cool. It's like, yeah, that you didn't do that thing, but that led to the next thing, which led to the next cool thing. Lives are just amazing. And in our lives, all I can acknowledge is we have things that we yearn to do that we're too busy and or code for scared to start because it's just a little uncomfortable to figure out. And so what would you like to take action on that might make you feel alive? Even and not even if it's a little tough, especially if it's tough, because doing something that takes a bit of effort or that does make you feel a little unsure is precisely what satisfaction is based on. Satisfaction comes from effort. You don't just get satisfied because someone dropped cotton candy in your lap. I mean, actually, I would really like that. But we feel satisfied and we feel fulfilled when we've actually pursued a goal that maybe wasn't super easy. So I think it's about, again, tuning in and saying, like, what would be a regret that I would have? Not a regret about an action, but a regret about an inaction. And do I want to take action? Some people, like, for me, I feel like, oh, I always thought I wanted to play tennis, but I'm like, yeah, on my deathbed, I'm not really going to care too much that I didn't, become a good tennis player. But what I would regret, and I can fill in those blanks, and then that's my choice. Do I want to do something about it starting today? Or do I want to keep punting it and knowing that if you keep delaying it, that's your conscious choice. And that's evidence that we're probably a little bit afraid to live. And that's okay. But notice it. And then you get to say, but is it really a priority? Do I want to, like a lot of people will say, I really want to write a book, but it's really daunting to start. But would you get to the end and feel like you sold yourself short because you didn't? Yeah, I would really love to try. Okay, so what's one thing even just today or this week you could do to feel like you were keeping your dream alive? You're not going to write a book this week. You're not going to get an agent this week necessarily. You might. But what about, and what's one thing you could do? Well, I'm going to read a book on how to write a book proposal. Boom. There you go. You can do that this month.
What's up, everyone? If you enjoyed that, then press here to watch the full episode. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.